Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this new batch of Bhakti Sutra. This is the second batch. Some of you have already attended the first one. So we keep on evolving. So I hope you all have some version of the book, either the hard copy or the Kindle version or the free version. Doesn't matter which one. So that is more like a reference. So the shlokas will be there and the translation of shlokas are also there, but the actual commentary I may keep revising, just like even the introduction I have revised a little bit. So I will be publishing a updated version of the book by the time we finish this batch, and all the regular students, your names will be on the top. So right now you see the names of people who attended the previous batch. All the regular ones from this batch, your names will be in that book now. So the book had a good reception. A lot of people bought it, a lot of people read it. I also got some good feedback, some constructive feedback. So based on all of that, I think we will do a better job next time. So this is Bhakti Sutra. Once again, welcome. It's a completely different journey as compared to the Bhagavad Gita sessions or other sessions that you have been attending in the past. So let us take a few minutes and let us get an introduction for all the seekers. So Bhakti is all about seeking for that divine grace. So that's why devotees are called as seekers. So what should we expect from the Bhakti Sutras? Is this the right path? Already a lot of people signed up, but not all of them have joined. But I will try to record and I will try to share the recording as well. But Bhakti is even more important to be practiced in a satsanga. Bhakti cannot be, somebody cannot just talk you into Bhakti. Bhakti has to be practiced. Bhakti is love. So you cannot just Google what is love and be satisfied with it, right? You want to feel it, you want to experience it, you want to express it. And the satsanga is the best tool for that. So the questions will come, is this path right for me? Am I ready for it? Some people have asked, I'm sure some of you may be having the same questions, especially people who have been spending time on the path of Jnana or knowledge. They will have a lot of questions about what to expect in the Bhakti Sutra. So here I'm going to start the introduction. Before that, let's all give our quick prayers to the Guru. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. The reason we say Om Namo Bhagavate here is because that pretty much means I bow down to the divine. And whenever we start learning something, that attitude of humility is very important. That is why before starting a session, we always say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Most of you or almost all of you here, you have all done Bhagavad Gita and or studied the Bhagavad Gita, I think. And so I would say this is more like a shift from Vedanta to Bhakti and a shift from the intellect, from the head to the heart. Vedanta is more of your head, or where you are understanding Sankhya philosophy and, what is karma and so many things that we use our head for to understand, but here it is more of the heart. Like some of you may have studied Vedanta, so you know that intellectually you might have studied things like, we call it Mahavakyas, Tat Tvam Asi, You are that. Or Aham Brahmasmi. But a lot of you have heard it, right? You have heard Aham Brahmasmi, you have heard Tat Tvam Asi. But how has that impacted you? How has that transformed you? It hasn't, because it has still been just, so that is the whole distance that we are trying to travel in this Bhakti Sutra, because Vedanta gives us all the knowledge required, but it has to get to the heart, and that's where Bhakti Sutra starts. And in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, Shri Krishna has said, 18.55, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati, very famous sloka, very important sloka, where Krishna says that it is only through bhakti that you can know me in truth. There is no other way. So if you really want to know Krishna, if you really want to know God, the only way is through bhakti. And it doesn't mean that you don't use the intellect. What it means is that you transcend the intellect. It's like it's at a certain height. And you are asking, does it mean I don't need a ladder? And we are saying, you have to transcend it. We are assuming that you have already used the ladder, you have already climbed one level up. Now get rid of the ladder and continue the journey. That is where you make a shift from Vedanta to Bhakti. See, Bhakti itself is a simple word, but a lot of people interpret it in very different ways. But great saints, what they've all said is that the ultimate reality, or Bhagavan, is something that is revealed. And it doesn't come through reasoning. It comes, your heart has to be ready. When the heart is ready, the ultimate truth is revealed. And I think that is the absolute goal for all of us. But can you just say, I'm going to open my heart and, okay, today I'm sitting here. Okay, God, I opened my heart, reveal. It's not happening. Why? Because it's not enough to just open your heart. You have to have the right level of purification. You have to have the right level of tayari. That is what we get from Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta and all of that. That prepares us, that purifies us, that makes us ready. But finally, when you are ready, you just have to let the current pass through. And the revelation will happen. So that is the method here. So I'm trying to keep my introduction as simple as possible. So there is this powerful definition by Vedavyas. There is a Purana called Garuda Purana. Some of you may know this. In Garuda Purana, there is a saying which says that the verbal root bhaj is used specifically in the sense of seva, that is service. Therefore, intelligent sages have declared that bhakti is the performance of loving service. Why we are talking about that? Bhakti is more like a bhava. Bhakti is about seva. Bhakti is about experience. Service to who? When we say seva, service to the Supreme Lord, and also service to His representative. Representative means what? Representative means whoever is helping us get connected to that Supreme, that personality we are giving the attribute of Guru. That's all. So it is a service. Does God really need our service? Does He need us to hold the stars or the moon? And does He need us to, spin the moon around the earth or spin the earth around the... He doesn't need. So Aisa Neki, the moment we say seva, we shouldn't get this misconception that somehow we are doing a favor by performing seva. Doesn't matter if you are doing seva to God or seva to Guru. It's not about something we are doing as a favor. It is more about the opportunity to prepare ourselves and purify ourselves. That is why that seva is given so much importance. No, bhakti itself has two fundamental stages. You can categorize it endlessly, but as I said, intellectual categorization is not that important, but for the sake of completeness. Because the Bhakti Sutra, throughout the Bhakti Sutra, you will see this pattern. Bhakti itself will be two primary categories. One would be what we call as sadhana bhakti, which is the path of practice, where you are still practicing the Bhakti Yoga. And the second is Siddha Bhakti. Siddha Bhakti are also called as Para Bhakti, which is the absolute state. At that time, you have succeeded as a Bhakti Yogi and you have received the grace of the Lord. And then you are permanently in that Bhakti. No, that is our goal. So you might have heard of this Narada Bhakti and all of that, 9 types of devotion. They all come under Sadhana Bhakti, the first type of Bhakti. And they are required so that we can elevate and advance to the next level. So quickly I can go through the 9 types of Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam and Atma Nivedanam. These are the 9 types. People who have studied Bhagavad Gita, they know all of this already. Our goal should be Atma Nivedanam. We have to reach there, which is complete surrender. But it is not you can't just jump there. You have to go through the process, follow the process and reach there. And what is Parabhakti, Siddha Bhakti? Is when we have purified ourselves sufficiently, when we have followed the process, then by the grace of God and Guru, that divine love is just, bestowed. It is a grace. What happens when you have that kind of a grace? What happens when you have that Parabhakti? That is when Maya stops troubling. That is when you have achieved victory over Maya. Then there is no more Maya for you. So, somebody was asking in the Bhagavad Gita, Vikasji, we cannot see you, but why Maya? Yes, it is there, but it is more like a, that is what we are supposed to overcome. That's our, goal. And how do we in the Bhagavad Gita, we always say that we have to ultimately overcome. We have to ultimately go back to Godhead, Krishna consciousness. So that is what is technically given here as Siddha Bhakti or Para Bhakti. When that happens, then you are already beyond that Maya. And all the accumulated karma that we have, I think we have studied 3 types of karma. Somebody remembers all 3 types?
Yeah, Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma and Kriyamana karma.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So Sanchita karma is, so this is how it is explained in Bhagavad Gita also. The new students, we will study this more in detail. So karma itself is classified into 3 categories. Sanchita karma means that is your master account. Countless lifetimes, countless years, everything you have ever done, that is your Sanchita karma master account. Prarabdha karma, when you took birth, this particular birth that you have taken, a certain amount of that karma is given for us to take care of. It could either be good karma, it can be bad karma, doesn't matter. It's a collection given. So that is why you may have some good experiences, you may have some negative experiences. Nobody has 100% good experience in this life and nobody has 100% bad experiences either. It is a mix, and that mix depends on the Prarabdha karma. And Kriyamana karma is what is the karma you are generating in this birth now, the new karmas. That is your Kriyamana karma. Why are we talking about all of this? It's a very powerful concept, very important concept. The concept says that through this bhakti, through the path of purification, we can completely get rid of our Sanchita karma. How powerful it is. Your master account can be cleared because God has the master admin. He has the root password. So your Sanchita karma can be taken care of completely. your kriyamana karma also can be taken care of. You are already so purified that you are not going to now get into any of this new karma business. But the problem is the prarabdha karma. Why it is a problem is once you have taken birth, it is like, let us say, based on your decisions, based on your actions, you have taken a flight from, say, Delhi to New York. Okay. Now the flight has started, you are in the air. Now at that time, that is your prarabdha karma is to reach New York. Now at that time, you cannot change that. No matter what you do, you cannot now not land in New York. I mean, something else outside your control can happen. But why? Because it's a very complex mechanism. Because you are now with a few hundred more passengers. They are also on that same plane. Why? Because they are also on a particular karmic journey. The plane, the passengers, the source, the destination, there is so much involved in it, so it's not possible for your prarabdha to just go away. This is what all the saints will keep repeating, because one of the most, this is something I don't explain in the Bhagavad Gita sessions, because as I said, this is a matter of the heart, so it is better explained here in Bhakti Sutra. Is many people will always question saints and sages. They will say, oh, if that saint is so great, if that guru is so purified, why are they having a problem? Why are they suffering? That question comes. And this is the best answer. The most accurate answer is that the prarabdha you cannot escape. Once you are on the path to purification, the impact can be softened. Like instead of getting your entire hand cut off, maybe you will get away with a deep cut, but your hand will still be there. I'm just giving a very gross example, but it's not that easy to explain. But so the prarabdha is going to remain. So what is our goal? Our goal is to continue on this path with faith. That is why the faith becomes so important. We are on the path of bhakti, we are on the path of purification, we are on the path of devotion. But when some difficulties come, we tend to lose our faith. We don't understand this mechanism. We think, oh, nothing seems to be helping, it's not seem to be working. I'm doing so much and why am I still getting a problem? So this is the best right explanation, is that you are just resolving your prarabdha. So keep the faith. But your sanchita karma is already getting taken care of. And your kriyamana karma is already getting better. Right now, you are all spending an hour here with us in this satsanga. You are not realizing, but you have already taken care in a great way of your kriyamana karma for this 1 hour. Imagine if you are not here and if you are in some party or if you are doing something nonsense somewhere else. You never know how many negative kriyamana karmas you might have generated. You have escaped all of that now. Instead, you are generating positive karma. So these things are working in your favor. Keep the faith, because the difficulties, they will come. Just ask for strength and have faith that you are on the right track. That is why I'm explaining all of this here. So I've explained all of this. So what are the prerequisites for this journey? Prerequisites for... I'm being very transparent and open here because I want to make sure that everybody makes the most of it, and my best wishes and blessings that by the end of this, we should all get at least a glimpse of that parabhakti. We should all get a glimpse of that siddha bhakti. And I'm sure we will. It's not something because of what I do, it's not something because of what you do, but it is something because of, that is how grace of God works. God just says, you follow the process with faith and I'll take care of the outcomes. So we'll just have the faith and continue. So what are the prerequisites? This prerequisites is not my prerequisites. One person sent me a note after reading my book. And he said, Guruji, why are you putting conditions for people to get on bhakti? I said, that is an excellent point, but my friend, they are not my conditions. I'm just a messenger here. I'm conveying the prerequisites that Naraji himself has given. So the first one is we have to go from this is you may want to write it down and you may want to reflect upon it, because this requirement is a very profound requirement. It requires a lot of thought and it requires a realignment of our belief system. So the first prerequisite is we need to move from a desire for mukti. From there, we have to move to just the joy of bhakti. It may seem like something simple, but I really request you to note it down, write it down, and revisit this. Because what is Vedanta? Vedanta, students of Vedanta, they're all driven by what is called as mumukshutvam, which is a deep longing for mukti. That is what Vedanta teaches us. Whereas in bhakti, path of bhakti, we are not saying you should not get liberation, but we are saying that no longer becomes your goal. That just becomes, if it comes, it comes. Your goal is that loving relationship with the divine. So, the focus of a devotee shifts from what am I going to get, which is mukti, to what can I give? Seva. It's a big paradigm shift. Instead of asking, okay, many people ask, okay, if I do Guru Mantra, what I will get? If I study Bhagavad Gita, what I will get? If every day in the morning I do Kriya, what am I going to get? And we give them, you will get this, you will get purification, you blah, 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 blah. But in Bhakti, you are not even asking that question. You're not even asking, what am I going to get? You're only asking, what can I give? Huge, big, transformative, way of thinking. And Naradji says that is a prerequisite. If you are willing, if this makes sense to you, then you are in the right class. You are studying the right topic. If it doesn't make sense to you, it's okay. We are not judging. You can take your time, and whenever you think it makes sense, whenever you think you are ready, you can come back to Bhakti. Because unless this is there, you can study Bhakti for years and it will never really materialize into Siddha Bhakti. The second prerequisite is the concept of Guru Bhakti and Guru Sishya relationship. This is kind of, in Kali Yuga, it is hard to explain, it is hard to make people internalize this. In fact, this whole system is in front of our eyes. This system is slowly disappearing, it is slowly going away, which is a sad thing, but you cannot stop. This is what Kali Yuga is all about. But Naradji has insisted that love and devotion to Bhagavan is achieved through devotion to Guru. And it is not about who the Guru is. Like there are some great saints who have made water as their Guru. So it is not a function of who the Guru is. It is a function of our bhava. What our bhava should be. So the focus should be there. It's very, very important. And the message is not to glorify, it's not like, I'm going to, take a picture of some guru and I'm going to, put garlands and I'm going to carry them on my head. That is not what we are talking about. We are talking about, do you have that bhava? Do you have the bhava to bow down before that Guru Tattva? That is the whole message here. And what are the parts of that? Shraddha, bhava, service. Because see, the greatest example is the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna. And this is, Krishna has taught the same thing, but he has taught it by example rather than teaching it through theory. Because for most of his life, Arjuna was relating to Krishna as a friend, and Krishna was okay with it. Krishna is our friend. Krishna wants to be our friend. Krishna is everybody's Sakha. And when Arjuna calls him as Sakha, and Krishna used to call him as, Priya. Like for him, Arjuna was Priya, and for Arjuna, Krishna was Sakha. It is all fine. And, Krishna was all about love. However, in the Bhagavad Gita, does anybody remember the turning point? When does the actual teaching start? In the second chapter we just studied. Anybody remembers? Simranji?
When he completely surrenders, when Arjuna bows down and completely surrenders and says, I am in your hands now, you take me to the path.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Perfect. So that is 2.7, where Arjuna says, Shishyaste ham shadimam tvam prapannam. We even created a meditation out of that. That was the time that until that point it was argument, until that point it was a debate. But there Arjuna says, I am now your student, O Krishna, and I bow down to you, I surrender to you. Because what is happening is that at that precise moment, his heart opens up. Through the act of humility. It is a key to open your heart. It is not to pump up the ego of Krishna or the Guru. This is how the ways of the universe are. It works very contrary to our material views. So that is why we have to have that humility, because that is how you can open your own heart. And the other important thing, now I have finished telling you what Naradji has said. I am adding a few of my take on it. Is when we say Guru Tattva and Bhava, surrender and all of that, what is very important is you have to look beyond the physical aspects. You have to look beyond the physical manifested aspects of a Guru. You have to look beyond the physical personality, and you have to focus more on the divine aspect. So it's not that because just like when we say God, some people say, why don't I see God? And some great saints have asked this question, which I really agree with, is if God is in front of you, how will you know it is God? I'm asking that question to all of you. You are all saying, I want to see God, why is God not showing? But let us say God is in front of you, how will you know it is God? You are going to compare it with some photo, you are going to compare it with some idol, some statue that you have known. And if God looks like that, then you are going to say it is God? So that means you are pretty much limiting that God. You are limiting God to that one form, one shape. This was the message given by Shirdi Baba also, right? He says, what do you mean I didn't come to your house? Did you not notice that dog? He will say. And people will say, yeah, we saw the dog. He says, that was me. So that is the message. The message is, people have expectations on how God should look. If God looks any different, they refuse to acknowledge that is God. Just like that, what is a Guru? People have their own preconceived notions. Guru means they have to be probably 6 feet tall with, long hair and fair complexion. And if that is not there, then it's not Guru. So all I'm saying is, we have to take out all those preconceived notions from our head, and we have to focus more on the bhava and more on the divine aspect. That is Krishna's real teaching, samadarshanaha. That is what it means. It means rise above all those preconceived notions. You can see God in a sparrow, you can see God in a crow, you can see God in a tree. God doesn't mean it has to stand in front of you with 4 hands and Sudarshana Chakra, Just like that, Guru does not mean somebody has to have a white robe and whatever our preconceived notions may be. So I will also now give you a good idea on what the structure is going to be, what the expectations can be. So we are going to study, there are 84 sutras of divine love. We are going to study that, and we will also integrate that with relevant Bhagavad Gita sessions and Upanishad slokas, because this is pragmatic Bhakti Sutra, which basically means we will still have a practical approach to Bhakti, and we will tie whatever we have learned together, how it relates to Bhagavad Gita, how it relates to Vedanta and all of that. And we will have a focus on the practical applications. And we will also touch upon the harmonious relationship between Jnana, Karma and Bhakti. And of course, it's weekly session. Every week we will try to cover at least 4 sutras, if possible more. The goal is to finish this in maybe 4 to 5 months. Let's see. Depends on how regular we all are. Recommendation, I would recommend, especially people who have finished Bhagavad Gita with us in the past, please go and just look at the revision of chapter 7, chapter 9 and chapter 12. In these 3 chapters, we have spoken a lot about Bhakti. So at least go do a quick revision. And I'm going to ask you all for some commitment. One of the commitments is just commit that every day you will do Nama Japa. Whatever number of rounds you want to do is entirely up to you, but you should have that commitment. All this will make sure that these 4-5 months have the best possible impact on you, and you take away the best possible transformation possible. It's for you, for your own benefit. Please have that commitment, and also commit to be as regular as possible. Personal challenges, emergencies, health, they are all understood. But apart from that, if you have to choose between anything else and this personal time commitment, please try to prioritize this, because this will not come again. Some tactical requests for all of you: please keep a notebook. I call it a journal. It's very important, so that you can take down not just what I am saying. Sometimes when I'm telling you something, you will get some revelations, you will get some aha moments, and you need to note them down. And they will all make a lot of sense when you revisit that notes later on. So it's very important that they are very interesting ways in which divinity communicates with us, but we are not paying attention. And sometimes divinity communicates with us and then we forget it within an hour. Very sad, but those things we have to take down. And please always make the most of this satsanga. I have a rule of no forwards for one reason, because this satsanga is not for entertainment. This satsanga is for purification, and this is an opportunity to do seva. Seva to your own satsangis. So encourage each other, share your experiences. And if somebody else has some doubts, somebody else has some questions, together let's help each other and grow. These are some very simple, basic requirements, but they will all make sure that, this really gives you the best possible, what we call, in the West, we call it the best bang for the buck. So you will get that. So are you ready? Do a self-assessment. Patience is very important again. In Vedanta, it is okay. We can feel impatient. We can say, yeah, I already know this. I know that. Okay, tell me the next thing. Tell me more. But Bhakti is not like that. Bhakti is a slow coach. It is not an express train. Bhakti, you need the patience. You need to, soak in the scenery. You need to help the passengers who are traveling with you. It's a different journey altogether. So... in fact, some of the greatest bhakti yogis on the planet, they have been people who would openly say that we have no jnana. Of course, they are jnanis, but they have absolutely no pride or no attachment to jnana. That is the path of bhakti. But then there is a promise. The promise is, Naradji himself says that this path is supreme, and this path can also be independent. This path is the action also, this path is the result also, outcome also. And unlike other paths, it is not about cause and effect. This path is all about just the cause. Just the divine. It's so beautiful. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Krishna says something very, very beautiful. Sri Bhagavan uvacha aham bhakta paradino hya swatantra ivadvija sadhu bir grasta hridayo bhaktair bhakta jana priyah. That is in Srimad Bhagavatam, a very beautiful shloka. It is shloka 9.4.63. Note it down, read it yourself. So 9463, in my opinion, 9463 from the Bhagavad Purana is probably the most powerful, most relevant sloka for encouragement on the path of bhakti. Krishna himself has given that promise. What Krishna says there, he says, I am completely under the control of my devotees. So he says, I am under their control. He is not just saying, I'm fond of my devotees. He says, I am under their control. I'm not at all independent, he says, when it comes to my devotees. And I sit in the core of their hearts. And he says, what to speak of my devotees? Even those who are devotees of my devotees, I'm extremely fond of them. Why I'm picking this one sloka? Because in Bhakti Sutra, we are trying to become that kind of a devotee. And Krishna says, that is the biggest power. Do you remember the scene in the Mahabharata where Krishna goes as a Shanti Dut? And, he tries to reason. And in the end, he says, okay, give me just 5 villages. And the Pandavas will be happy. And our friend Duryodhana is arrogant as always. And you know the whole story where he says, I'm not going to give even a atom, not even a speck of dust, kind of, arrogantly he is. And Krishna very politely tells him, why are you so keen on ruining yourself? Why are you so keen on making your mother cry on your dead body? Krishna is actually trying to put sense, and that only instigates him. And at that time, what does Duryodhana say? He says, Bandi banalo ise. And that is when Krishna says, Bandh sake to bandh mujhe. Koshish kar lo, try. If you really think you can bind me, he says, first try to go and tie that sky. Do you have a rope long enough for that? So Krishna and nobody is able to touch. That is when one of his Vishwarupa Darshanam happens and people understand. So why I'm giving you that example is, even the most powerful Kaurav Sena, they are powerless in front of Krishna. They cannot touch him, they cannot bind him. But Krishna says, one devotee can bind me. Isn't that powerful? So that is the whole message. Krishna says, one humble devotee can completely bind me. I come under his control. So that is the power of real bhakti. Not the bhakti of convenience, but the bhakti of conviction. The day we can say that this is my priority, you will see life change for you. As long as it is just an option, it will be a lifelong journey. That is the whole message here. That is the only reason I used to be very particular about my students being regular for their sessions, but I understand I have been too hard. So these days I have totally stopped that. If you come, I'm happy. If you don't come, may Krishna bless you. But, but the message is, this is for you. This is so that you progress to becoming that kind of a devotee who can make the most of Krishna's promise of being your best friend. So Om Tat Sat. Would you guys like me to give you a further explanation on how this is going to be? Part 2 of introduction. Are you okay if I cover it now, or do you want me to do it in the next session? I may need maybe 15 more minutes. If you want it now, you can raise your hands. Otherwise, I will know how many people are ready. Okay, we have significant number of people who are okay for it. Okay, so I'll just finish it so that in the next session we can start with the sutras. Okay, so I'm going to extend this introduction a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the teacher, the text, and the journey. The Bhagavad Gita pretty much lays the foundation for our journey. As you see, my pace will increase now. For the introduction, I was deliberately slow because bhakti is like that. I told you it is slow, coach. And that was my demonstration. And that is a test. Did you feel impatient while I'm talking? Kya Guruji itna dheere baat kar rahe? Why is he so slow? Then that is an indication that, you need to really, that is the message. The message is more patience is required. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita laid the foundation for the journey into divine love, and Krishna, he has himself very progressively revealed bhakti as the supreme path, and he has declared that if you look at chapter 12 in Bhagavad Gita, 12.2, where Krishna has very clearly said that those who fix their minds on me, those who worship me always with supreme faith and devotion, they are, in my opinion, the best yogis. So who is the best yogi? Not the guy who can stand on one leg for a million years. The best yogi is one who can be such a bhakta. Very, very clear Krishna has been there. So Krishna has shown what the destination is, and then our teacher, Narada Muni, he is going to provide the detailed map. A map on how to reach that destination. So before we meet our teacher, Narada Muni, let us trace how Lord Krishna himself establishes the supremacy of bhakti. So if you are noting down something, you can note down. I'm going to give you a few slokas. It's all going to be really good for you to introspect and reflect on them. The first one, it is 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktaya prayachati. Where Krishna is saying that if you offer me with devotion even a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, I will delightfully take it. He's saying what he's focusing on is the love with which you are offering, not what you are offering. So that is a very wonderful revelation of bhakti. And then if you look at chapter 11, there is a sloka 11.54, where Krishna says, by unalloyed devotion alone can I be known as I am, standing before you. Thereby, one can receive my divine vision and also enter into union with me. He's saying, you can actually become one with me, but that's only possible through the path of bhakti. And then in chapter 14.26, Krishna says, those who serve me with unalloyed devotion, they rise above the three modes of material nature and they come to the level of Brahman. Krishna has very clearly said that the three modes of nature, we will study all of this in detail in the new batch also. The gunas are very powerful. They control everything. But if you have to raise above that, then that happens through the path of bhakti. So these are some representative shlokas. There are many more shlokas in the Gita where Krishna has spoken about bhakti, but at least these three, they cover three different perspectives on why bhakti is very important. And who is Naradji? We are talking about Narada Bhakti Sutra. He is no ordinary sage. He is Manasaputra of Lord Brahma, where Brahma created him through his mind. And the purpose of Naradji was to guide humanity on the spiritual path. So Naradji is also called as the Raja Rishi, the king of all rishis. See, the name itself, Narada, the name itself means one who gives knowledge of the supreme Brahman. That is what that name means. And Naradji's journey itself is a testament to the transformative power of devotion. Most of you may know there is a site called Vedabase, vedabase.com. If you go there, you can read the entire Srimad Bhagavatam online. And so Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.23 onwards, if you see, they will describe the story of Naradji, where in a previous life he was born as a son of a maid servant. And then through the grace of service, and he was serving pure devotees. And he was also, based on that service, he got elevated in the path of bhakti. So he had to take that birth as a play, as a divine leela, where he wanted to lead by example on how that seva can take one from a low level to a high level. So Naradji was born in a very low level family, but entirely through seva to devotees, the seva bhav, he elevated himself all the way to a great bhakti yogi. It's a very, very powerful message for all of us. It's something very interesting I want to tell about Bhakti Sutra itself and how it evolved. So, Naradji first composed something called as a Narada Smriti, which was a text on dharma and about the karma khanda of the Vedas, where he was teaching humanity how to live righteously and all of that. But he was not satisfied. Once he was done with it, he didn't really feel satisfied. Then he went ahead and he composed something called as a Narada Pancharatra. The Narada Pancharatra was a Mishra Bhakti. Mishra Bhakti means it was how to mix devotion with rituals. So he was again talking about rituals, but with a perspective of how to add bhakti to that. And then he was still not satisfied once he was done with all of that. And then finally he came to writing the Narada Bhakti Sutras, which was all about divine love and pure love, divine love, not Mishra Bhakti, but pure Bhakti. And that is when he felt satisfied in the end that he has written something worthwhile. So this is an evolution starting from action to action with love, and then finally just love. And this is called Bhakti Sutra. So what is a sutra? Sutra pretty much means a string. And it is kind of pictorically saying that it is a thread on which the pearls of wisdom are strung together. And each sutra is like a seed which contains the vast wisdom in a compressed format. So these sutras are all very compressed, small shlokas, and we have to expand upon it. So there are 84 sutras. We don't have to cover all of the explanations, but in short, we can categorize them into 4 parts. And I'll share these notes with you. I think this you can find in the book also, that is with you. The first part is foundation, which covers the first 24 shlokas. And then the second part is the glory and the practice. The third part is the mysterious aspects. And the last part is the examples. So this divine love is teaching us something revolutionary. As I said right in the beginning, we have to change our entire mindset that even the desire for liberation should go away. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself has said, Bhukti Mukti Svaraha Yavat Pishachi Hridi Vartate. So that is a shloka from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he says that as long as the ghosts of desire for material enjoyment, which is bhukti, or liberation, mukti, as long as they haunt the heart, how can the happiness of bhakti truly arise? In short, bhukti means you want to enjoy the material pleasures, material world. Mukti means you want to enjoy liberation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other great saints, including Naradji, says, if you really want to be a bhakta, then you should only say bhakti, neither mukti nor bhukti. So you should neither be asking for enjoyment, and even mukti should not be your goal. And if you're okay with that, then you are on the path to being a true bhakta. That is the path of bhakti. And if you want inspiration, please read the story of Prahlada. That is one of the absolute examples of bhakti. Beautiful, beautiful example. And it covers so many aspects of what Krishna has taught. Where Krishna says Samadarshanaha, that is what Prahlada also says. When his father Hiranyakashipu is saying, where is your God? And Prahlada says, he is everywhere. You see, that is how the story goes. So it is not just about dramatism. It is about the real essence of Vedanta. The real essence of what Krishna taught, that yes, Krishna is everywhere. He is in every atom. But if you truly believe, then that becomes your reality. See, it's a very powerful statement. And this is a statement from Vedanta, which I am simplifying it, is we don't see the world the way the world is. We see the world the way we are. It's very important to keep that in mind. For example, the world is 70% water. And if you are very afraid of water, then you will say that the world is mostly a dangerous place. But if you are somebody who loves the water, if you love swimming and diving and all of that, you will say the world is a very thrilling place for the most part. But the world was neither dangerous nor thrilling. The world was just the world. And how you saw the world depended on you. Just like that, God is everywhere. Do you see it that way? If you believe in that, if you have faith in that, that becomes your reality. But if you say, no, God is not any... This was Buddha's teachings pretty much, which has been misunderstood and misrepresented. Buddha never said there is no God. Buddha said, if you believe there is God, that is your reality. If you believe there is no God, that is again your reality. No, that is what Buddha actually taught. And that is what we are trying to cover here. And that is the real message of Prahlada's story, where Prahlada had faith. And that became his reality. It can become our reality also. So just like Prahlada, where the divine love was not something he did. Divine love was not something he had to, force. It was his nature. He couldn't do anything else. That should be our ultimate goal, and it is possible. That eventually it will become our nature, and when that becomes, we start perceiving God the way Prahlada perceived God. Do you know that towards the ending, that is another very symbolic thing. Towards the ending, the Narsimha Avatar, he was so angry, so wild, that even the goddess couldn't calm him down. The only person who could calm him down was Prahlada himself. And that is exactly what we saw when we discussed that Bhagavad Purana sloka, where Krishna said, I am under the control of my devotee. And that was an evidence there, where no matter how angry he was, he came under control of a 9-year-old boy. The entity that cannot be controlled by demons and gods and goddesses came under the control of a tiny little boy. So it is not a physical form that controlled Krishna. It was that love. It was that bhakti. And that is what is the key takeaway there. So how do we approach these teachings? I just want to close this introduction by saying that Naradji will teach on multiple levels. The same sloka, you can perceive it in many different ways, multiple levels. To the beginner, he will offer, practices and encouragement. That is what you will take away. To somebody who is a little more advanced, it will be revealing mysteries. And for a realized soul, it will be providing confirmation. So that is how there are 3 levels of realities in every sloka. It is okay if all this doesn't make sense to you. Just bear with me. We will walk together and this will all start making sense. So, with the blessings of Jagat Guru, with the blessings of Narada Muni, let us begin the sacred journey. In the next session, we will start with the sutras, and I will try to cover the first 5 sutras in the next session. So with that, I can stop talking. Hare Krishna. Now I will open the floors. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free. The floor is yours. Usually I cover this in 2 sessions, but I thought I will make it a little condensed for all of you. Yes, Sandeep ji?
Guruji, when you mentioned those 3 Bhagavad Gita references, why you did not mention the favorite one, 9.22?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So I just picked 3 slokas that covered 3 different perspectives. That's pretty much it. But as I said, there are a lot of slokas. 9.22, Ananyas Chintayantamam, of course, that is the absolute favorite. And certainly. And also the last sloka, 18th chapter, where Krishna says, Sarva Dharmani Paritrajya, just come and, So there are many, many slokas, but the 3 I picked, they cover 3 perspectives on bhakti. One from the perspective of overcoming gunas, and one from the perspective of Ananya Chintan only, but we took a different sloka for that. And one from the perspective of how it is so powerful, that whole concept of bhakti. Vikas ji, you had a question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Guruji. You talked about Garuda Purana, the beginning. So my understanding of this was that usually Garuda Purana we are not allowed to read or something is what I thought I understood like that. That only after someone passes away in the house or something like that, then you do the Garuda Purana. So is it okay that one reads the Garuda Purana or understands, or tries to understand the Garuda Purana before such an event or something like that, or will reading that cause some unwanted things to happen in the house, etc.?
नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं है. Garuda Purana is usually read. You are right. It's usually read when some Atma has passed away, but it doesn't mean that you cannot read. You don't like Jasa we do Satyanarayan Puja and all, right? So don't recite the Garuda Purana, but you can read anytime you want. The rule is only for don't recite it as a ritual. That recitation as a ritual is to be done only when somebody is passing away, is what is the common belief. So yeah, feel free, go ahead and. But there is not much there. I mean, I don't think the entire Garuda Purana will. It will be enjoyable as a bhakti yogi, but few slokas definitely make sense. Sandeep ji, you wanted to add something?
Yes, sorry. I read about that recently. So only a few percent of the Garuda Purana covers the death rituals, but there are many more things in that
Yes.
related to cosmology and other things. So
Nature of the
nowhere it is
soul. Yeah.
yes. So nowhere it is restricted to read it, but as you said, it should not be recited all the days.
Exactly. Just because you asked this, one interesting tidbit I want to give that I don't know if you know, but the Mahabharata is not considered as an auspicious text. So if you see, you will never see anybody keeping a copy of Mahabharata in front of their puja room. Only the Bhagavad Gita.
Ramayana is kept, correct.
Yes, but not the Mahabharata.
Is not kept.
So because it's not considered auspicious. Only the Bhagavad Gita is the auspicious part of Mahabharata. But that does not mean that you cannot read the Mahabharata. It is just that don't use it as a ritualistic instrument is the whole message. Yeah. Great questions. Simranji?
Guruji, as a part of introduction, you want to explain the meaning of this Sa Tvasmin Param Prema Rupa?
That is second sutra. We will cover it in the next session.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Patience. We will cover it. Yes, Sulataji?
It was on the cover, that's why I want to ask.
Guruji, here because we are trying to understand the Supreme Brahman, realize the Supreme Brahman, and rituals which serve, to know God and where devotion, to develop devotion. So that's fine because we are referring to any like Garuda Purana or whatever ritual. It is just to increase our devotion or have that devotion. So whatever serves for devotion, that we can do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what we, Naraji also will say, Krishna will also say, it's the bhava that matters.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to, increase your love, or if your goal is to practice bhakti, whatever you want to use. It is, that's what Krishna meant when he said, patram pushpam palam toyam. He said, what you offer, how, that is not important. That ritual is not important. The ritual of offering is not important. It is, do you have love in your heart when you are performing that ritual of offering? He says, that's what I'm focusing on. If you don't have that love in your heart, then you can do a Ashwamedha Yagya, but still that's not going to have the effect. But if you have that bhava in your mind, just place one stone and it will fulfill the purpose. So, yeah. So, again, Krishna never said you should not read the Vedas, because Krishna himself asks a question, why are you wasting your time in Vedas, right? So, even Buddha will say the same thing. But it's not that don't read the Vedas. There is no problem with that. It is that don't try to use it as a instrument to gain some material benefits. Don't use it as you don't use the rituals as something to gain something else. That is the problem. Yes, Chitraji?
Hare Krishna Guruji. I didn't have any question. There are some questions in the chat box. That's what I wanted you to see.
Oh, really? Thank you for pointing out. Yeah, I have not been following the chat. Yeah, let me see. I'll try to bring it closer to me.
Do you want me to read it, Guruji?
Yeah, you can read any question that you see.
First one was by Dipali ji. She's asking, how many times do you do the Naam Japa?
Yes, there is a technical answer and there is a devotional answer. The technical answer is it depends on the sampradaya that you follow. Like if you follow ISKCON, then they will say that you have to do 16 rounds every day. And like that, every sampradaya will have a particular number. But as a bhakta, the number doesn't really matter. The bhava matters. And the goal ultimately should be ananya chintan, where you are not, there is no limit, there is no number. It is going on in your mind 24/7. That should be the goal. But to reach that goal, start with whatever is convenient to you. Focus on the bhava. The mistake that people do is when they start, they try to focus on the count. I've seen fancy gadgets. There are these electronic counters and some people will have an actual alarm. Once they clicked a few number of times, it will say peep, and then they will click again. But I'm like, it is just disturbing my mind. When I chant, I like not to keep account. The mala is good enough, but yeah. But again, it depends. My only thing is aligning with Bhakti Marga. The number doesn't matter. The bhava matters. Chant as much as you can with the goal that eventually you're going to have that chanting going on in your mind always. Yeah. What's the next question?
It's a long one by Sumana ji.
Can you please summarize this?
Yes, Guruji, I will just ask it. So basically, what I understood from the introduction is the ultimate goal of bhakti is Nisvartha Seva. That is what which helps us attain or maybe like to reach the God, maybe.
Okay.
So in Kali Yuga, Guruji, like we know lots of atrocities and all of those things are happening. So how do we keep ourselves, like involved in this?
I mean, I'm trying to understand your question. So atrocities are happening. Why is it preventing you? In what way is it preventing you from them?
So basically, na Guruji, like what I meant is that like the distractions are more. Okay, say for example, किसी को ये होगा कि like in their life something really bad happens. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
instead of like learning from that, they usually tend to sit in one place and think, why is that thing happened? Why has that thing
Correct.
happened to me?
Correct.
Correct. So all of these things are kind of distraction to the bhakti what you're about to perform or bhakti what you're
Correct.
supposed to do. Correct. So how do we actually, like get this, like in the control so that, like we follow bhakti rather than, like staying at one place
Beautiful.
and actually
Beautiful.
thinking about.
Beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful question. It's a very practical question. So the first part is, this is what we study in Bhagavad Gita. This is what Buddha also taught is prapancha. The problem is not what happens. The problem is how we react. Like somebody, you are driving, you're going somewhere and somebody cuts you or somebody honks at you and that person has done it and they have already moved on. They are living their life, but you are not moved on yet. Why did they do that and this and that? It goes endless. That is called prapancha, and that is causing pain and problem. We have to avoid that. That is the first thing. First thing is take things as they come and don't get too attached to why it happened. Second is the prarabdha we spoke about. You should know that when things don't seem to be working the way you want them to work, don't get into the doubt mode immediately. Because as we explained, there is something called prarabdha that is not in your control. Look at great saints. Look at, Ramana Maharishi had a throat cancer. Premanand Maharaj, who is revered by crores of people, he's got both his kidneys failed. So, and they themselves, if you look at Premanand Maharaj, you can search on Google and ask the question, how does Premanandji react to his kidney problem? 99.99% of people, they get distracted, they get discouraged, they get depressed, saying, why did this happen to me? Premanand Maharaj feels happy it happened to him. Premanandji says, I'm so happy that God gave me this problem. Now I have problem in both my kidneys, but that keeps me focused on God all the time, he says. So if you want a shorter answer, this is the answer given is, what happens, you don't have any control. But how we react is entirely in our control. And that determines whether it is a distraction or whether it is a purifying, something which is purifying and something which is supporting our growth. Okay, and final answer is, the way to shield yourself more is Ananya Chintan. You start with, bhajan, you start with Nama Japa, but at the end of the day, if that Nama can go on in your mind 24/7, then you become like a lotus. Rain will come, storm will come, but nothing will stick. So, does that answer your question, Sumanaji?
Yes, Guruji, to some extent. I still have some doubts.
Yes.
So maybe like with the course, maybe it will get clear.
Yes. You just need to be patient. You need to be consistent, and you need to participate more. And this will become a realization eventually. Theoretical answers will never be satisfactory. It has to become something that is realized, and that will happen. That will come if you just be with us on the journey regularly.
Sure, Guruji, I'll try my best.
Guruji, I just wanted to add, substitution is also one of the ways that you have shared.
That is Ananya Chintan. That is
that's Ananya Chintan.
Yeah. So if the name is going on in your mind all the time, then there is no room for distraction. There is no room for noise. It's always the name that goes on. But that is not easy. We cannot just today say that I'm going to do Ananya Chintan. It's not easy because the mind is so turbulent that you have to follow the process. And this is all part of the process. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. It was a real pleasure being with all of you. I'm grateful to all of you for giving us an opportunity to spend time on Bhakti. So my best wishes, and I hope to see you all complete the journey. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guruji.